Shema, Yasha'Allah, Yahweh, Allahayanawa, Yahweh, Achad, Deuteronomy 6:4, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our power is one Lord. Double honors to my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and are worthy of their double honors. Peace and blessing to you, Akim, pushing out this truth across the four corners during these last seconds of time. Kwam Yasha'Allah, mighty Shalom. And I'm back at you with another quick lesson entitled Detach from the Matrix 2025. Detach from the Matrix 2025. Lord willing, this message be edifying. And we ultimately know that this matrix is likened unto this system, this current world ruled over by the wicked elites, America chiefly. But ultimately, the scriptures, this word, this ministry calls us to detach from the matrix or this system or this world, all right, and its rulership spiritually. Even though physically we're still here in slavery, the scriptures say we are yet this day in our captivity. But there's a mindset that you have to have in this captivity that spiritually shows that you're not with this place. So I just entitled this lesson, Detach from the Matrix. And I looked it up on Google, detach from the matrix meaning, and it says detach from the matrix is a metaphor for freeing yourself. And how do we ultimately free ourselves? Scripture say be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Scripture say if any man be in Yahweh Shah Mashiach, he is likened unto a new creature. The word new goes into refreshed, renovated, renewed. It says detached from the matrix is a metaphor for freeing yourself from societal conditioning, external expectations, and routine to live a more authentic life, which is spiritually, man. This is 1 John 2:15. Love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. And ultimately we know the Matrix is likened unto this world. Just like in the movie you had the Matrix, which was a false sense of reality. And a multitude of the people didn't even know they were caught up in the Matrix, except those that had took a certain pill. And that's likened unto the hopeful elect. We've ate this roll, which is this word. It's sweet and it's bitter, but ultimately it's for the hopeful elect to receive, and only the hopeful elect are going to depart from the ways of the society, are going to detach from the matrix. This is Romans chapter 12. I start at 1. It says, I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God our power, that ye present your body a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto God our power, which is your reasonable service. That's right, man. And we go out on the highways and byways, teach, present our body as a living sacrifice. And what are we ultimately laboring for? Because the word labor goes into suffering. We're laboring and suffering for something that we can't see on this side, because we surely don't want to get rewarded by the things here in the matrix. Which, just like you had in that movie, you had one of the characters, he was indulging in fake steak, and he knew it was fake, but he wanted the pleasures and the riches of that matrix. He didn't want to snap into the reality and realize, hey, everything that you see here in the matrix is fake. It's a facade. It's false. That's just like here in America. The things here, the money is fake. The reality is fake. The followers are generated, okay, to deceive the masses about what's truly going on. That's why, like the apostles go into time after time, this is only for the hopeful elect to get, because the hopeful elect are the only ones that are going to be renewed back to the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So it says, verse 2, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. And how do we renew our mind? Through the word, through these scriptures. That's how we're refreshed. That's how we're pulled out of this matrix of America. That's how we're taken away from all the false idols, the false ideologies, the dogmas, the doctrines that are ultimately pushed on us here to separate us from Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, man. It says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God our power. And I'm going to get that in the NLT, and I'm going to get that word renew, because the scriptures say, I believe it's in Corinthians somewhere, it says, if any man be in Yahweh Shah Mashiach, he's likened unto a new creature. All right. Old things are passed away. That's the matrix. All things become new. Roughly paraphrase. Now get it, because that word new goes into refreshed. And that's how we're taken out of the matrix. We're refreshed by this word. We're quickened by this word. Romans 12:2 in the NLT, it says, don't copy the behavior and customs of this world. You see, detached from the matrix. But let God transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. And those characters that took the pill in the matrix, they were transformed in a way that they thought. It changed. They saw the matrix for what it was. They saw the agents that were behind the different traps and snares within the matrix, and they were able to battle against it. And when they snapped out of the matrix, they were attacked even more on a higher level. More demons. Scriptures say he that increases knowledge increases sorrow. It says, Romans 12:2 again in the NLT, don't copy the behaviors and customs of this world, but let God our power transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Then you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect. And it says in Ephesians, be circumspect, knowing what the will of the Lord is, because the days are evil. How are you going to be circumspect and know that the days are evil if you're still attached to the society? If you're still seeking comfortability within the society? If you're still seeking riches? Scriptures say riches profit not in a day of wrath, but righteousness delivered from death. Why? Because all of this money, this fiat currency, all right, it's fake. This digital currency that's coming is fake. That's not true money according to the scriptures. The way this society is set up, that's not how a true fruitful society is set up according to the scriptures, man. All right. The wicked is currently at the top and the righteous are at the bottom. All right. In a proper functioning, ordered society, you have the righteous that are at the top. But that's soon to come. Like the scripture saying, I believe it's Proverbs, it says, when a wicked bear rule, the people mourn. When a righteous bear rule, the people rejoice. So let me get that word renewing.
Strong's G342.
Anakinosis. Renewing, it says a renewal, a renovation, a complete change for the better. That's right, man. A complete change for the better. That's what renewing goes into, man. And that's only given to the hopeful elect, to completely change for the better. Because everybody else, they're either faking it in this society, selling out, like me and the brothers are going into, selling out for some type of temporary riches, and not serving Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, man. And like Apostle Gabar goes into, you have two types of people that are here on the planet Earth. You have people that are here for destruction, people that are here for deliverance. Point blank, period, man. And that's the times we're coming into. You have those that are being renewed by this word, by this truth. You have those, like the scriptures say, let the multitude perish that was born in vain, but let my grape be kept. That's the Lord's chosen people that are fighting every day to be renewed, fighting every day to be, like it says, to completely change for the better, man. So it says Strong's definition, renovation, renewing. So let's go back into this matrix. It says core concepts, societal conditioning. It says shedding The matrix means rejecting the pressures to behave, look, and think a certain way that society imposes. That's right, man. We're not trying to behave the way the society behaves, think the way the society thinks. We just went into it. I says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. I'm going to read it again. Romans 12:2 in the NLT again. Don't copy the behavior and customs of this world, but let God, our power, transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. That's right, man. Which is in Yahweh Shai. If you're calling on Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, all right, you're already in a good place to change completely for the better. You have those proper names, all right? Then you'll get the proper doctrine if the Lord's dealing with you. And that proper doctrine is only in one place. It's only with the apostles on down to the least of us. Lord willing, I be at that number, man. That's the only way you're going to change if you're guided in the right direction, man. And you can only be guided in the right direction if you have the proper shepherds, the proper pastors. Scripture said, the Lord will give you pastors according to his knowledge. According to his knowledge. That's how we're able to change our behavior away from the customs of this world. So it says, but let God our power transform you into a new person by changing the way you think. Then you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect. So it says self-discovery. The phrase is often linked to a journey of self-discovery, reclaiming your authentic self and finding your true purpose, which is in our testimony. But that's only for the hopeful elect, to find our purpose in the Lord. And we're all fighting for that. All right. Witnesses have a testimony, just like in a court of law. You have witnesses, and a testimony can either be good or it could be bad. It could either have somebody up there and be found guilty or not guilty, man, based off a testimony. But the hopeful elect have that testimony. Like it says in Revelation 19, the testimony of Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy. That's our testimony. That's what it's based on. We're detaching from this matrix system. Like the scriptures say, we're occupied in prophecy and the meditation thereof. This is Sirach 39:1. But he that giveth his mind to the law of the Most High and is occupied in the meditation thereof will seek out the wisdom of all the ancient and be occupied in prophecies. And that's how we ultimately as well renew our mind. By these prophecies, being refreshed in them, seeing these things that are happening throughout the earth, filtering them through biblical prophecy. The history, captivity, the Stir Wars war, pestilences, famines, plagues that are going on throughout the earth. That's how we're being renewed and refreshed, man. It's keeping us in our youth and on top of, pretty much on top of, like Jake said, on top of the game, man. That's what these prophecies do. They keep us ahead of the game. Prophecy means to say before. So it says, verse 2, he will keep the sayings of the renowned men, and where subtle parables are, he will be there also. He will seek out the secrets. He will seek out the secrets of grave sentences and be conversant in dark parables. That's right, man. The apostles on down to least of us, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, are taking in this whole role and going out and teaching the house of Israel and renewing others, hitting that renewal button, just like, or that refresh button, just like you have on a computer. When you have a screen that has an error or something, that's likened on to us, man. We had errors in us and still do, man. We're still being cleansed. We have errors in us. And when you have that error screen, you hit that refresh button, and what happens? That page is refreshed and it's new again. It says on my Corinthians, I'll get it real quick, but I'll just read one more. It says, verse 3, he will seek out the secret of grave sentences and be conversant in dark parables. He shall serve among great men and appear before princes. He will travel through strange countries, for he had tried the good and the evil among men. And that's likened unto the apostles, man. Well traveled, all right? Well experienced in the scriptures and able to teach others. Bear with me. I believe it's 2 Corinthians. Yes, 2 Corinthians 5:17. Therefore, if any man be in Hamashiach, he is a new creature. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things are become new. And I'm going to get that word new, because I believe it goes into refreshed. And that's backing up that Romans 12. 2 Corinthians 5:17 in the NLT. This means that anyone who belongs to Hamashiach has become a new person. The old life is gone. A new life has begun. That's right, man. We're looking back on the matrix. We're looking back on the false society and the behaviors and the customs of the world, man, and being transformed in his word. This word quickens us. The scriptures say that. Quicken goes into invigorate.
Strong's G 2537. Kainos.
It's that word new. It says new as respects form, recently made, fresh, recent, unused, unworn. As respects substance, it says of a new kind, unprecedented, novel, uncommon, unheard of. That's right. It says recently made, fresh, recent, unused, unworn. The scriptures in the book of Revelation, the 14th chapter, it likens the hopeful elect unto virgins that have not been defiled with women. That's the men that have detached from this matrix system and are ultimately covered by the blood of Yahushua, man, and renewed. So detach from the matrix. 2025, Lord willing, this message was edifying. This quick hit was edifying. I'm going to give infinite honors and praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Harachak Wadash. Double honors to my teachers, the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings until next time. Kwam Yashala, Mighty Shalom.